a 1-1 week for the Illini, which last week I said I was expecting 0-2. So 1-1, thoroughly pleased with an 87-83 win at Iowa City, which was a great game. And then an 83-79 loss at home to Arizona, which I was at, and we'll talk about here in a little bit. I don't really have anything written down to talk about. So, Logan, I'm just going to lob it up to you. Do you want to talk a week as a whole, or do you want to break down each individual game?
We can do it either way. I think, as you said, I think we both kind of expected 0-2 for the week. So to have the week go 1-1, to start the Big Ten season 2-0, including a win on the road at Iowa, against an Iowa team that's not as good as they have been the last few years. There's no Luka Garza there anymore, but they do have players, and they can shoot. They have scorers. So for Illinois to go in there, and I don't want to use the word dominate, but to really control that game from really start to finish. They only won by 4, but they really did control that game. So for them to do that, again, on the road, at a hostile environment against a rival, a team that has been a true rivalry, to win that game, the first time they've won that game in how many years? I mean, Trent and DeMonte have never won there. That's the first time that Trent Frazier and DeMonte Williams have won in Iowa City.
Yep.
So, I mean, that says a lot. So very, I was ecstatic after that. That was a pleasant surprise. And it just kind of cushioned what was inevitably to come the following Saturday. But yeah, I was just really pleased with that. It was just a nice all around game, from the scoring department. I mean, they got 21 from Plummer, again, another 20+ point game. Trent had 18, Kofi had 17, and another double. And then Jake Grandison had 21 points off the bench. I mean, those have been the 4 scorers, and that we can talk about that in the next game too. But that was, I mean, the Iowa game was just a pleasant surprise.
Yep.
I think for both of us.
Yep. It was a game that Illinois started off. If I remember right, they started off pretty good. Yeah, let's see here. They had a 20-10 lead, 6.5 minutes into the game. And then Iowa went on a 19-0 run, or 21-2 run, or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
21-2 run to make it 31-22 Iowa with 5:58 left. And then Illinois closed and had a 3-point halftime lead, 39-36. And then it just took off from there. Illinois went on a run and was up 15 at one point. And it got close. It got down to 3. And then Plummer hit a 3 from the corner to get it back up to 6. And that kind of iced the game away. Like Logan said, Kofi with another double-double. And it was like all in the second half.
Yep.
He did nothing in the first half, and then he just put the team on his back in the second half and got him a win in Iowa City. Like Logan said, first one since 2017, 2-0 start in the Big Ten schedule. But yeah, that was a great win. Great win to start the week. That was more than a week ago. It was on the 6th, I think. It was the day of our last show release. So yeah, it was last Monday, which, like Logan said, lessened the blow of Saturday.
Right.
So Saturday came around. I was in Champaign with 5 of my buddies at the arena, and just walking in, the buzz was back. Yeah. Like you could tell that this game meant something. And I hadn't even realized this was the biggest non-conference home game from Illinois since Wake Forest. This was the highest ranked team, non-conference. Really? This was the highest ranked non-conference team to come into the State Farm Center since Wake Forest did in 2004 for the Orange Out, when they blew the doors off of Chris Paul and Wake Forest. They've played some high-ranked non-conference games. They played
neutral sites.
Neutral site. They played Gonzaga in 2012 or something. They played Gonzaga in Chicago. And that's what I told one of the 5 guys I was with was an Arizona fan. He was born in Tucson. And he said, no, we played you guys like in 2006 after the Final Four. Like, we played you guys. I was like, no, that was in Chicago. Like, these games don't happen. And so all 6 of us, we were just happy that this kind of game was happening, because anymore, 2 power programs like this, they don't play true home and homes. They play neutral site games.
Yeah.
So this was just an awesome atmosphere, total sellout. The crowd was into it. Me and one of the guys I was with was at the Iowa game when Kofi blocked Garza at the end. That's the loudest we've ever heard State Farm Center. But Saturday, when Trent went on the heater and at the end of the 19-0 run, that was really close. It was insane in there. So before we go into more detail, Illinois loses 83-79. Benedict Matherin for Arizona is legit. He's one of the best college basketball players in the country. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 10 of 17 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. He's a specimen. And Underwood said it after the game. He is what pros are looking for. He's what pros are look like. But it really wasn't him that beat him. It was Kirk Krisa, freshman guard. He had like 12 in the second half. That's unofficial. That's just what it seems like. Scored 19 for the game, but he was the one that was hitting the daggers late in the game that clinched it. Excuse me. For Illinois, Frazier and Plummer. Frazier had 27. Plummer had 25. Both of them hit 6 threes for the game. Grandison added 4 threes. He scored 14. Kofi went 13 and 13 points, 13 rebounds. And those are the only 4 players that scored. Yep. Illinois had 4 players score a point, and they scored 79 points. That's a problem. We'll talk about that more, I guess, in a little bit. So yeah, it was. Illinois has lost 3 games now. Marquette loss. I was livid with that loss. I was very upset at home with that loss. Cincinnati, it was such a blowout that I was over it by the time the game ended. So I wasn't too upset, but I was still mad about it. I wasn't even mad that Illinois lost this game. I walked out of that arena, and the first thing we said is about our hits. We just watched one hell of a college basketball game. Probably the best one I've watched from start to finish the entire season. And that had me content. I didn't even care that Illinois lost. I mean, did I want them to win? Absolutely. But that was 2 NCAA tournament teams just battling for 40 minutes, just taking punches, taking blows from each other. And in the end, it was a 1-possession game, basically. I know it was a 4-point game, but it was a 1-possession game for the last 5 minutes of the game. It was phenomenal to watch and phenomenal to be there.
Yep.
Have you rewatched it yet?
I've not rewatched it. I mean, I listened to every second of that game. I will be honest. I had my headphones in the whole time. I had a great game going on in front of me. But even and then I even was watching the game towards the end. I was far more invested. Granted, I was at a great college basketball game. I saw a great upset in South Bend on Saturday, but I was far more invested to what was going on the phone in front of me. Yeah. So no, I have not gone back and rewatched it. But I had they won, I probably would have. At this point, I'm probably not going to. I wish I was there, for one. I was happy with where I was. It was cool, but I wish I was there. But I get what you're saying. I think that's kind of the right mindset to have. I understand that it's disappointing to lose a game at home by only 4 points, a game that you had chances to close out, and that you just weren't able to do it. Arizona was just the better team. I mean, this is a Arizona team that is top 10 in the country, probably even higher than that. They should be, although I don't think they're very high in the rankings again, which I kind of figured they'd be higher than that. But whatever the case may be, you can't really hang your head too long about this one. Disappointing, yes. Yep. But again, those are 2 NCAA tournament teams, as you said. I think this is an Illinois team that we have seen is capable of being very dangerous in the Big Ten. So there's a lot of basketball to be played. Yep. So not much. Yeah, you gotta point out the things that need to be pointed out. As you mentioned, the scoring, they have to get somebody else that can score the ball. Yeah. You can't just rely on those 4 guys. I know Andre Curbelo eventually will come back, but you're not going to count on him to be putting up a ton of points. So they got to figure that out. Can you? I didn't see it. I saw it, but I wasn't listening. I don't totally know what happened. Did Alfonso Plummer just not know the rule? What happened? He just
honestly
did not realize.
Okay, so
that there was a 5-second call.
I don't even remember. It was less. Was it less than a minute? I think it was
okay.
less than a minute.
Let me back up. The Illinois game, Illinois, Arizona, and Kentucky Notre Dame were at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So these games were unfolding minutes apart. The Notre Dame game started a little bit after, but they got done with the first half before. So I'm trying to watch both of these games. I shouldn't have been paying as much attention to the Illinois game as I was. But I don't know what happened there. Can you explain to me what happened?
Hold on.
With the Plummer situation?
Let me see if I can just rewatch what was happening. It was like, no, I can't watch it on my phone. I believe there was a minute left. Illinois had the ball. They inbounded it to Plummer. And full transparency, I looked away, or I was looking at the stat board or something, and I look up, and Benedict Matherin, who was guarding Plummer, was yelling 5 at the ref, and then half second later the ref called it. So the way we understand the rule, and you might know it better, is you have 5 seconds to hold it, and then you can dribble it, and if you're moving, there's no 5-second call. But if you're dribbling in one place, there is a 5-second call, and then when you pick it up, you have your another 5-second call. So this is apparently he just caught it.
He just didn't know,
and he just held it. And now the defender has to be within arm's reach.
What
to
was
get the
5 score seconds at this point?
I don't remember.
Was he waiting? Was he waiting to get fouled?
I believe no.
Is that the situation?
I believe we were down 1.
Okay.
I believe we were down 1.
This game did not have my full attention, so I was not totally sure what happened. All I know is I looked down at that and I was very confused as to what was happening. So, okay, well, regardless, you can't have that. But hey, you can't hold your head too much about that. You just got to figure out the scoring situation and move on. So
I'm gonna figure this out because now I'm curious as to what the
this is going to be great content.
27 seconds left. Alfonso Plummer had a turnover and Illinois was down 3.
Okay. So it wasn't even a foul situation. So, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Move on.
So yeah, Illinois goes 1-1. There was something else I was going to say about the game and I can't remember. Yeah, I think you touched on it. Just we've talked about it for 3 weeks. Just mental mistakes. Stupid mistakes, couple bad shots. That to a T is what we're talking about. The 5-second call,
the Kofi jumper.
Kofi
jumper shouldn't have happened. I get he made one earlier, and he has made a couple of those this season. I know he can make them, but that's not the time to take that shot.
I remember what it was. Illinois was 16 of 40 from 3. 16 of 36 from 3. 27 of 68 from the field. So they made 16 threes and 11 2-point field goals. The points in the paint was like 45-16. Just Illinois could not get anything going inside the arc. Kofi even got blocked 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Arizona's athleticism and length really, really caused some havoc for Illinois. So all in all, it is a loss. It does go in the loss column to drop Illinois to 7-3, which Dave Wisnowski in Chicago, I believe, pointed out. Illinois was also 7-3 after 10 games last year. So take that how you will. No time to panic. No reason to panic. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Sure, would we have liked to have the Marquette game back? Obviously, shouldn't have lost to that team. Cincinnati, you shouldn't have lost to, but the way that game played out, you should have. So that's a loss that you deserve. And Arizona's a top 10 team. No reason to panic. This was the stretch of games that we talked about when we saw the non-conference schedule. You had 4 high major teams. You go 3-1. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Next 3 games aren't tough. Go into conference play 10-3, and continue to roll. Speaking of next game, Saturday, 1:00 Eastern against St. Francis, PA, St. Francis, Pennsylvania. Let me look up their KenPom real quick to get a gauge.
Is this the second St. Francis on the schedule this year?
Yeah.
I believe they played an exhibition game against the St. Francis.
Against the St. Francis. Yes, you are correct. St. Francis, PA is 242 in KenPom. They are 3-5 on the season. I don't know who they have played. Probably nobody. They lost by 3 to Ohio. They lost by 30 to Virginia Tech. They lost by 2 to George Washington. So a couple of high major teams, a couple of losses for them. I guess only one high major team. Ohio's not high major. So a bounce back game for Illinois. Get a week off. Don't know if you're gonna have Curbelo back. I would doubt it. I was talking to a buddy, and I know we're already talking a lot in this episode, but I was talking to a buddy that we were asking me about Curbelo and what I thought was going on. And I said, I think you try to get him back for that first stretch of Big Ten games. Or did I say that on this show? I feel like me and you might have talked about it, because
we have talked about it, but I don't know if you mentioned that specifically.
Illinois has St. Francis, then you have Mizzou, then you have Florida A&M. So 3 cupcakes, and then you're back into conference play. But the conference play starts with Minnesota, Maryland, Nebraska. So try to get him back maybe for that Minnesota-Nebraska game. Just get him like 10 minutes, get him on the court, say, hey, just take it easy, just get the feel for it. Don't try to do too much. Just get in uniform, get in game rhythm, so you have him maybe in full swing for Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, those kind of games. That's where I'm at with that. But who knows if he even comes back? They're not giving any updates.
I know it's a conundrum. I don't know what's happening. And nobody knows what's happening other than people close to the program, probably. But yeah, you need to get him back. The sooner the better. I don't, as you said, I don't see it happening against St. Francis, and it probably won't happen before the conference season starts. But the sooner he can get in there and get back to acclimated, the better. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show, but I'll say it anyway. If he hasn't learned anything from this experience, then there are bigger issues at hand.
Yep.
Because he has to realize by now that he does not have to be the guy that he thought he had to be against Marquette.
Mm-hmm.
He has to have learned that this team is full of people that can score the basketball. And he just has to learn and just be the facilitator like a point guard should be.
Did you see my
Why
reaction
did you
just then?
React
like you
did.
I was just imagining Curbelo coming off a pick and roll, going like between the legs, and then like a kick out pass to Plummer in the corner. And it just made my brain smile.
I love it. But that's just what needs to happen.
Exactly.
He came. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what happened against Marquette. But he, as I said, he has been there on the bench for all these games. He's seen what's the situation at stake here. They have people that can score the basketball. He does not need to do that.
Yeah.
So if he can just be the point guard that he is, if he gets his 8 to 10 points a game, fine. Get me 10 assists and 8 boards, and we're good. Just run the offense, because they need ball handlers more than anything.
Yep.
Trent cannot be the ball handler on this team all season long, because if that's the case, this team is done.
Yep. Arizona showed a little bit of press, but they didn't show as much as I thought they were going to.
There is no happy ending for this season if Trent Frazier has to be the primary ball handler all season long. That is a 10 or 11 seed, first round out to the tournament type of team. Maybe. they might be a little higher than that, but point still stands.
I think right
So-
now they're probably a 6 or a 7 seed, maybe 7 or 8 seed.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So Saturday, St. Francis, PA, 1:00 Eastern on BTN. Try and get back in the win column for the Illini. Brad Underwood did say after the game, unfortunate news with Austin Hutcherson. He is out for the rest of this season once again, this time with a sports hernia, which will require surgery. I think they said that the recovery time is normally like 8 to 10 weeks, which would take it to the end of February and he could come back, but I just don't think they're going to push it. So he is out for the rest of the season. I think he played in a couple games, right? He played in a couple regular season games. I know he played in the exhibitions.
He is an enigma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, he did. I know he did play. He did touch the floor a couple times. He played solid minutes one game, and then the next game, he was playing garbage time minutes. So I was really confused by that. But yeah, he is an enigma. I have no clue what this guy is supposed to be. Obviously want to see him recover and be able to, have some sort of a career here, but I don't know what it is. It sucks because they were obviously hoping to rely on him for something. And it doesn't look like they're going to get that. So,
yeah. So a body in the rotation that we kind of counted on for the last couple of years. That's not going to be there. So feel bad
as
for
we've
him,
seen, outside of those 4 guys and then potentially Curbelo, there's just not much there.
Yeah. Coleman Hawkins really regressed.
He is, and DeMonte's regressed.
Yeah.
DeMonte can't make a jump shot to save his life.
Yeah. I mean, Coleman is the one that makes the stupid mistakes. He was terrible Saturday. He was awful.
They got some things to work out, but I do want to point out, and you kind of touched on it, and you mentioned it. The next 3 games are more or less cupcakes. The next 3 after that aren't exactly super difficult. And the 7th is a home game against a not very good Michigan team.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I am
not going to predict a 7-0 stretch right now. I'm not saying that at all. But I think it's a realistic scenario that they go 7-0 for the next 7 games.
Yeah.
Just going to say it.
Yeah, it's very realistic.
Would love to see it. Be happy with 6-1, but I think it's a very realistic scenario that happens. And if that's the case, people will, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason to panic. For all you Illini fans listening, do not panic. This team will be fine. This team will make the tournament. But I don't think they're in the number 1 seed conversation like we thought they were preseason, but that's okay. Let's see how the season plays out and see what happens in March.